everybody, and warm welcome to my channel Tarot by Izabela. I am very happy to see you here today, and I hope you're all doing fine, even if we live in very chaotic and strange times for the moment. Today's video will be a reading about the big fire that happened on Tuesday, the 16th of April 2024 in Copenhagen. And it was a very famous landmark from Copenhagen, the Stock Exchange building that is more than 400 years old, that burned down suddenly. And there are a lot of question marks about this fire, and we're gonna look into that today. But before we begin, I must thank you all, you wonderful viewers, for all of your help and support to this channel. Without you, it would be difficult to continue doing more videos, so I'm very grateful. Well, what about this fire in Copenhagen, Denmark? In front of me I have some information written down, and I'm gonna read it. It's about this fire, so we can get some background info before we begin. And I will do this reading with the help of my flourite crystal ball and some tarot cards, oracle cards and dice. So let's first start to find out some more information about this big fire. And on Tuesday, 16th of April 2024, which also happens to be the Danish Queen's birthday. Even if she resigned her position, she still is seen as the Queen of Denmark. But anyway, a big fire that ripped through Copenhagen's old stock exchange, one of the Danish capital's most famous landmarks, was brought under control on the Tuesday after the flames toppled its spire. The fire broke out in the 17th century Dutch Renaissance style building on Tuesday morning. It was quickly engulfed in flames while thick grey smoke rose above the city in scenes reminiscent of the 2019 blaze of Paris Notre Dame Cathedral. There is almost 5 years since that happened, 5 years mark. Emergency services employees from the Danish Chamber of Commerce, including its CEO Brian Mikkelsen, and even passerby, were seen carrying paintings away from the building in a race to save historic artifacts from the flames. Soldiers of the Royal Life Guards helped to cordon off streets and secure valuables. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed. A large part of the stock exchange is badly damaged by fire, but many of the valuables were saved. The Danish Chamber of Commerce, which has owned the building since 1857, was working on restoring it to the style of Denmark's King Christian IV, who had it constructed in the 17th century. The building no longer houses the stock exchange, but serves as the Chamber of Commerce headquarters. It was clad in scaffolding when the fire broke out, making it harder for the emergency services to get through to the flames, while the copper roof trapped the heat. Officials said the fire was more intense around the tower. Several hundred pieces of art and artifacts, including paintings, mirrors, chandeliers, timepieces, were saved by firefighters before flames destroyed most of the interior. Dragons on the roof. The building was originally built for trading in goods such as tea and spices. The spire was shaped as the tails of 4 dragons, intertwined, symbolizing the protection of the gold that trade would generate from Denmark. The spire also had 3 crowns at the top, symbolizing the kingdoms of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. For generations, the characteristic dragon spire has helped to characterize Copenhagen as the city of towers. The nearby finance ministry was evacuated as a result of the fire, the police said. The walls of the building are still standing, but the interior has been significantly damaged and the roof is partially collapsed. Firefighters used cranes to hose water down into the building. Copenhagen police meanwhile launched an investigation on Wednesday, which they said will be a complicated process. Police officer Brian Belling said authorities have already conducted interviews, secured surveillance, and carried out a large number of investigative steps. The cause of the fire is for the moment unknown. Well, that was a little bit background information for the fire. And as I said, to do this reading, I'm going to look into my flourite crystal force for a little while and see if the crystal ball have something to say about this. And after that, I'm going to take some cards. But first, I need to concentrate for a few moments on my crystal ball, and soon we'll see if we can get some additional information about this devastating fire in this old, very famous building. Okay, just give me a few seconds and soon we start. Let's see if we can find something. Well, it's difficult to see anything on this fire in the crystal ball. It's like it's covered up. A lot of information about this fire is covered up. They don't want information why and how really to get out. Because I see like a big blanket covering everything. This was not by accident, since it is covered up, and I see symbolically someone putting on the blanket. And this fire, according to the crystal ball, it looks like it's planned, and it's planned by people. Could be people that have some spiritual knowledge, how to make things look as something else than it is. The symbolical dragon spire, it had to go down. For me, here it looks like the symbolism of the dragon, like the dragons are going down. They have no power over the finances anymore. And this fire was talked about on many channels in Scandinavia and around the planet. So it seems like this building is quite important globally. And Denmark is not a big country, it's a very small country, but it got a lot of attention worldwide. Especially when there is no casualties. no one was hurt by this fire. Only goods, material goods. I see the walls before the fire almost like vibrating in dense energy. It looks like the whole building was, infected with very dense, quite negative energy. And it was a way of cleaning it out. It said that they were going to rebuild it. It will take time. And I think it will be rebuilt to something else. Not as a commerce for trading things. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if we can see something more here. Symbolically, I see big dragon getting smaller, 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 until it becomes a little lizard that is very harmless. And then it runs away. So somehow this could also be a symbolical way of defeating the so-called dangerous dragons. And dragons protect gold, and they are very greedy. There will be a lot of arrests following up this fire, but not arrests that has to do with this building. Other people that will be arrested. Politicians, people in high position, and that will come quite shortly after this fire. So Danish people will hear about strange arrests, or people on very high positions suddenly are not there, disappeared, or became very, very ill. Yeah. And this will be some kind of chain reaction that will affect both Norway and Sweden. Mm-hmm. And the change they have had over the normal people, the greedy, so-called elite or people in very high position, is crumbling into dust. Yeah. So this fire will be a start of something else, something bigger that is coming. And that will affect Sweden and Norway also, quite big. Okay. Well, that was what the crystal ball want to say. Let's continue to the cards. First, I need to shuffle a little bit. For the fire in Copenhagen. Just two more. And the last one. And some dice. Well, the cards, they look like this. Let's see what we got here. In the tarot cards, you have 6 of Swords, Page of Cups, 9 of Swords, the Devil, and 10 of Cups. On the Oracle card, we have a fish, overcoming obstacles, you can overcome anything, mice, reach out, and merriment. On the dice, we have a castle underwater, must, specific. According to the cards, in the center we have 9 of Swords, and then we have the Devil just beside that. There were some very dark things going on around that building. And we have the mice above it, so it was some kind of parasitic energy or some kind of parasitic activity. And on the dice we have a castle underwater, must, and specific. So it seems like that castle or that building that represents something very valuable had to go down some way. It's horrible that big culture heritage should be hit by something like that. But it seems that there is some underlying things that we are not aware of that are not so clean. And it had to be taken away. Well, all the big treasures, paintings and so on, most of it was saved. But the building in itself and what it may contained was maybe not that clean all through. And it seems like after this fire, when things are being cleaned up, it will come better times. And it looks like also that specific, some kind of not so nice activity that was going on, it will come out in one way or another. And it looks like at the end, it could be that there will be some kind of celebration that this was cleaned out to restore peace somehow or balance. We have the little ones here, and we have 6 of Swords, and it could be some kind of activity that was where little ones were involved. I hope really that it was not, but here in the cards it says so. Yeah. And I really, really hope if that is the case, it will be cleaned out from the ground, from the core. So whatever strange activity can stop to exist. Now I'm gonna take some more cards on this fire. If there are some more information we can get around this fire and the meaning of it. additional information. Four of coins fell out. There was a lot of greed in that building. Extremely much greed was going on. Greedy dragons. Some additional information. Well, the additional information, the cards, they look like this. In the additional information, we have the Emperor, 6 of Wands, 10 of Coins, the High Priestess, and 9 of Cups. Then on the Oracle cards, we have Stars, Constancy, and Justice. Yeah, again, there are a lot of secrets around this building, or were around this building. A lot of things were going on in secrecy. And it looks like the Justice had to come to this building somehow to bring a balance. The fire in itself, here I get a very, very strong feeling that it is a start of some new kind of economical system, because we have the Emperor, 6 of Wands, 10 of Coins, and 9 of Cups. And it's showing that the situation around economy and finances will change and will be as many people hope for. And justice is coming for the financial world, as it has been, because there's a lot of things that are not clean in what is going on around our planet. And this was more like a sign. We have the stars, like a symbolical sign that big changes are coming. And changes for stability, for a better world for everyone. And a lot of those secrets that were going on in that place or around that place will revealed when justice comes on a visit. Yeah. According to the cards and the crystal ball, I don't see like some very evil people or evil energies behind this fire. Even if it's horrible, I still don't get that it's some really, really bad guys behind it. I'm gonna take some last cards for this fire in the stock exchange building and see if we can get some last words about this. I also get like a vision. This fire here will not be the only fire. It looks like there will be a fire, big fire in a very famous building in Sweden and in Norway also. So it looks like there is something planned there too. I cannot say exactly which building, but I see 2 famous buildings on fire in Norway and Sweden. Okay, some last words. And I'm gonna take some dice on this too. Well, the last cards, they look like this. In the last cards, we have the Star, 6 of Coins, and 6 of Cups. Then on the Oracle cards, we have Rainbow Blessings. Blessings are showering your life. 3 Fish. Reverence, kindness, consideration. And on the dice, we have a Tiger, Mature, and the Castle underwater again. And a Fist in anger. Well, it seems like, according to the cards, some very big fishes had to be caught. They were mature for catching. And there were fishes that were trading or fishes that were doing some kind of business. And this building represents that, and it was mature for catching. And this kind of business that was going on had to be put underwater, symbolically. And this fire, according to the cards, of course, it's gonna cause a lot of anger in people because it's a culture heritage. It's something that Copenhagen identify with, and it's a very famous and old building. And that going down, of course, it causes a lot of anger in people. But what will come out after that so-called investigation, or things that will be exposed, will also cause a lot of anger in people. At the end, it will be some kind of blessing. Since this, according to the crystal ball and the cards, was some kind of very dark and negative energy connected to that building. It's been cleaned out, and new, fresh, loving and caring energy can be replaced with that loving and caring energy. I'm going to take one card when we will know the truth about this fire. What was going on in that building, or why it began to burn. And here I have 2 of Coins, number 2. So it could be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. We will get balance in this fire. Some kind of revelation, some kind of facts, hardcore facts will come out. But the good thing, nobody was hurt in this fire. There are no deaths. Could have been much, much worse. And it seems like it was quite controlled, this fire. And dragons burning down, well, there's a big symbolism in that. One should not overlook it. Well, that was my reading, my answers for the fire in Copenhagen, the Stock Exchange building. And to all of you wonderful viewers out there, I want to thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we're gonna see each other soon again. Bye bye.